Hello students, yesterday we had the first part of our explanation segment from the third level. Today we'll be having the journey ahead of it. So far we have done the third level, the preliminary part of the explanation where the narrator is sharing with the readers his weird experience of visiting the third level at Grand Central Station. Grand Central Station, GCS, is a railway station, we can call it there, a railway terminal for the commuters who used to apply from one place to another regarding their job obligation there. And this is the famous terminal of the city of New York. Around 700 different trains move to different part of the city of New York in every day routine. And Charlie, in order to reach early, because that day he was a bit late, therefore he wanted to reach early to reach home, obviously, to his darling wife Lucia. Therefore, instead of taking a bus which could take more, consume more time, he preferred the faster way, that was obviously the GCS, the railways. And what actually he experienced when he was trying to reach early home that particular day, he's just sharing his weird experience, peculiar experience with you guys. I turn into the narration of his weird experience starts. I turn into the Grand Central Station from Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, where his office was situated. That is the entrance, the north entrance of GCS is Vanderbilt Avenue, and went down the steps to the first level. And straight off, he started moving. After entering into the GCS there, he started moving to the first level. From where he supposedly may catch a train to reach his home. First level, where you take trains like the 20th century, that was a normal. If you wish to take the trains, to reach the suburban part of the city of New York, first level is the place, where you should go there. There are two levels, went down the steps to the first level where you take the trains like the 20th century. Then I walked down another flight to the second level. So obviously the trains which were applying to his destination were available at the second level, not at the first level. So first of all, he reaches at the first level. Then by climbing up a staircase, or a flight of stairs, he reached at the second level. Supposedly he will be catching his train from that particular level, that was second level. Where the suburban trains leave from. And obviously suburban, he was a suburban person. His house was situated in the outer part of the city. He was a resident of outer part or outskirt of city of New York, and that was the level, the second one, from where he could get his desired train, requisite train. Subway, another flight to that leave from and ducked into. And in order to get into the second level, he first duck into. When somebody ducks into a particular place, he lowers down his head and body so that he can enter into it there. He ducked into, lower down his head and body is called ducked into an arced way, curved way. In order to get into the second level, he just lower down his body, arced doorway, moving to for the subway, and got lost there. And he wanted to reach at the subway there, from where he could catch the train to reach his home there. But after that, he got lost. Means he got disconnected from the current world, from the modern world, and reaches and did the time traveling in retro time, and the flashback or the past time, and got lost. That is easy to do. Means he didn't put a serious effort to get lost at the second level or to reach at the third level. He was trying to reach home early that day. He went to GCS Grand Central Station. Via first level, he reaches at the second level and eventually got lost there. And to do, I have been in and out of Grand Centers hundreds of times, but I am always hitting into the new doorways and the stairs and the corridors. And now it is not the first visit of Charlie to Grand Central Station. Many times, hundred of times, he had used the trains of Grand Central Station to reach home or to go office there. But many times before he had encountered, he had bumped into, he had clashed into new places every time. It means it was not his first experience, weird experience of visiting a different level or unknown level or non-existing level. But before that day also, he had experienced such weird stuff that he was trying to reach there and eventually reached at somewhere else. And where? What do you mean by somewhere else? Also in the past he had reached. Two places are mentioned, into doorways and stairs and the corridors. Okay, it is not the first time he had visited. He has used Grand Central Station many times. That it's trained, but many times before also he had got some weird experience. Wanted to reach home, but sometimes reaches there, sometimes reaches here. New corridors, new lobby, and the new stairs. Always been faced, confronted, okay, by Mr. Charlie. Before that day also, corridor. Once I got into a tunnel, underground underground subway is called tunnel, and about a mile long, almost 1.6 kilometer long. It was there. He was there moving into a tunnel and came out of in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. Once he got lost at GCS Grand Central Station, and where he was able to come out from. Okay, that was the lobby of open balcony of the famous hotel, Roosevelt Hotel. Roosevelt Hotel obviously is being they're resigned by the name of the famous American President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR. He is better known as FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was the 32nd President of America, whose time span as presidentship of US was from 1933 to 1944 till his death there. So by his name there is a great hotel there in New York, and this is Roosevelt Hotel. And you must be surprising to know that no American, actually, an American is not an honor, is not the honor of the Roosevelt Hotel. It is the Pakistan International Airlines, PIA, is the honor of Roosevelt Hotel. And you must be more astounded or amazed to know the worth of this luxurious hotel, okay, of all time. Almost 1.5 billion US dollar is its worth. Long tunnel came out of the lobby of Roosevelt Hotel. Another time I came up in the office building of 46th Street, 3 blocks away. And the second time, 3 blocks away, 3 buildings away, 3 blocks away, 3 buildings away from Roosevelt Hotel. He got himself there, stuck into, stranded up there on the road. So it was not his first time experience, weird experience. 2 times also, 3 times also in the past, he had met such a peculiar experience there. Blocks. Sometimes I think GCS is growing like a tree. Now underground tunnel or underground ways are there, thousands or hundreds, okay, at GCS. So GCS is compared to a big tree roots which are sprawling, which are extending, which are spreading all over the place there. Corridors, different corridors which are spreading or underground the city of New York from Grand Central Station, like that roots, okay, which are spreading in all direction of a big tree. So GCS is compared to a big tree, and the different corridors, different ways or the lobbies of GCS or a tunnel is compared to roots of a big tree. and staircase-like routes. There is probably long tunnel that nobody knows about filling its way under the city right now. And he's saying it clear to the readers that you must not be surprised in today's date also, okay, in 20th century also, in 21st century also, that if we try to dig, okay, the city of New York, okay, under the road, still we can have many corridors or many ways or many subways, okay, of Grand Central Station. He wants to say that there is a web of WEB, there is a web of different corridors, different tunnels still there under the city of New York, belongs to GCS, Grand Central Station, that nobody knows about filling its way under the city, no, on its way to Times Square. And now, according to Charlie, a person can have a tunnel under the city of New York, which is moving to Times Square. Very famous area of this, the place of the city of New York is Times Square, and maybe another to Central Park. There may be a lot of tunnels under Grand Central Station or under the city of New York. One tunnel can at GCS can take a person to which place? Times Square. And another tunnel still existing according to Charlie, if the road is dug up properly till date, okay, we can find different tunnels moving to different popular places of the city. One is Times Square, second is Central Park, okay. Central Park and the Times Square, both places, both are popular, and secondly, both are almost very close to GCS, Grand Central Station. Maybe because so many people through the years, Grand Station, GCS has been an exit, a way of escape. Not Charlie may be worried because of this reason there, because the tension, the fear of insecurity, the fear of war, the fear of violence, the tension, the anxieties are there in everybody's life there. So GCS has been, according to Charlie, has been a perfect place, perfect medium, perfect means where the people of New York City can take a temporary refuge, a temporary shelter from the modern world insecurities, tensions, or the worries, or anxieties, or unhappiness. GCS has been a perfect place according to Charlie. It's a way of escape. Maybe that is how the tunnel I got into, but I never told my psychiatrist friend about that idea. And you see, that idea means what? If someone in America or New York City wishes to take a temporary refuge, Grand Central Station has been a perfect place to go to. This idea, Mr. Charlie has not told his psychiatrist friend yet, because he may not be believing. That may be the reason. The corridor I was in begin angling, moving left, moving left, and slanting in a crosscourt across, having a steep slope, slanting downward, and I thought that was wrong. And instantly, the moment he got lost in the corridor, instantly he came to know that it was not a way he should move to, he should go to. He thought that he was moving on the wrong path or the wrong way. Wrong, but I kept on walking. All I could hear was the empty sound of my own footsteps, and I didn't pass a soul. He kept walking there, all alone. There was no person, okay, he was able to meet there. It was a tunnel-like stuff, so not a single soul, not a single person met him on the way. He was moving silently, or even he could hear the echo of his own movement in the tunnel where he was moving at that time. I hear all the empty sound of my own footsteps, and I didn't pass a soul. Means not a single fellow he met on the way. So then I heard that sort of hollow roar ahead, that means open space and people talking. And after some time, he was able to comprehend that, okay, at the end of the particular tunnel where he was moving in right now, he heard some sound of people talking and people movements, and obviously that was a good symbol for a sign for Mr. Charlie that he would be able to see someone there at the end of that particular tunnel. He will not be left all alone after that. That the means open space and the people talking. The tunnel turned sharp left. I went on the third level I went down a short flight of stairs, okay, and came out of the third level at GCS station there. And the moment he heard that some voices were coming there, then he just start moving into a flight or the staircases or a series of stairs, and eventually he found himself at the third level at Grand Central Station or GCS. For just a moment I thought I was back on the second level. It means the first experience, the first glimpse of Charlie at third level, okay, was almost same as he comes across while visiting the second level. There was not a great many of the differences he found at the third level. The first glimpse, the first experience, oh my God, I again returned back to the second level like that. But when he noticed it, when he watched it carefully, his surroundings, then he came to know that he was not at the second, he was at the third. What were the differences? Later on he came to know. Check it out. I thought that was wrong, but I kept on walking all Koda here. Okay, that was GCS over. I was back on the second level, but I saw the room. Okay, now please get your pen, pencil ready. The differences, you got to make a list. You got to make a list of the differences. He witnessed. The rooms. I saw the room was smaller. There were fewer ticket windows and train gates, and the information booth in the center was wood and old looking. Now, key differences are mentioned. The rooms were smaller, first of all. The ticket windows of the booth were of old fashioned, and third one, they were made up of wood. In center was wood and old looking, and the man in the booth wore a green eye shade there, and the clerical person who was giving the tickets from the ticket booth, he was wearing eye shade, the glasses, the goggles, eye shade, and long black sleeve protectors there, and then he was wearing a long sleeve protector also. Okay, maybe summertime. Okay, the lights were dim. There was not a bright light at all. There were lights, but very dim. The conditions were murky, not that much radiant. The scenario was, projector and the lights were dim and the sort of flickering, and the light emitting sources were almost gas lamps. So the light was flickering, swaying here and there. So there were not, you can say, the halogen lights or the tube lights or the bulbs. There may be gas lamps, so that the flame was swaying here and there due to wind flow, due to air flow, due to breeze. That was flickering, swaying, swaying, swaying here and there. Protector were dim and sort of flickering. Then I saw why the light was flickering or the flames were flickering or the swaying, because then he came to know they were open flame gas light. They were open gas light. It means there were no modern lights availability there. There were lights, but they were gas lamp only. Few more changes. There were brass spittoons there. Oh, costly things there. Nowadays we have got the dustbin made up of cheap plastic and the cheap fiber. But there, spittoons are the container where we are supposed to spit while moving on the road there. But those spittoons were made up of brass, a costly metal. On the floor and across the station, a glint of light caught my eye. And when he found himself at the third level, he started observing the scenario, and that was quite peculiar and emphatic. Therefore, he started moving in, and there suddenly his eyes caught a glimpse of a glint, a light. A shining light is called a glint. A spark is called glint. He saw a glint of light caught my eye. A man was pulling a gold watch from his vest pocket, and suddenly his eyes caught a sight of a man who was getting his watch from his vest pocket, and that was made up of gold. So that was certain that he was time traveling in the past, because watch was of golden stuff there. So obviously it may be around 1894 time. 1890s maybe the timing, huh? A golden watch and his pocket is snapped open, broke open, snapped open to see the time. Snap open, he got the watch open, okay. Snap open that cover, glance at his watch, saw the time, glance at his watch, he looked okay on the dial to see, to know what was the time going on, what was the time at that moment. For his watch and frowned, got angry. Got means he may be waiting for someone, okay, that particular place, and when he saw the time, okay, it was too much for him. Therefore, he gave an angry look. Frowning, gave an angry look. Okay, he wore a derby hat, a black 4-button suit with tiny lapels hanging there. A derby, a long loose. Derby, a long loose. The first time when Charlie was character has been mentioned, that was gabardine suit he was wearing. Gabardine, again it is a long lapel or the tile woven suit made up of soft, durable cotton cloth. Gabardine. Or this is the derby one, which is generally put on by those people who generally move to see the race of the horses. That is called derby coat. Then I looked around the station. He wore a derby hat, a black 4-button suit, and derby hat, a long curve hat. Okay, generally worn by those people who just put it back. Okay, on horse racing. A derby hat, okay, handle and tiny lapel, tiny hangings there on the coat, and he had a big black handlebar mustache there. Then maybe timing around 1894, there was a tradition that the people enjoyed wearing the 4-button suit, derby hat, and the handlebar. Mustache he has got, a long mustache he has got. In my okay, so many handlebar mustache. Then I looked around and I saw that everyone in the station was dressed like 1890 something. Then he was amazed so far, but in order to get the confirmation what the time moving to at the time there, he looked here and there and confirmed that the manner the people were putting on the dresses. Generally, the clothes give us some sort of indication about the time he was visiting to there. So after seeing the type of clothes the people have put on around him, he guessed, he assumed, he surmised that maybe seeing the trend of the clothes, maybe the fashion of the clothes, maybe belonging to 1890s era, like that he came to know. Handlebar mustache. Then I looked the horse base like 1890 something. I never saw so many beards, sideburns, and festive mustaches in my life there. So in modern world, people, okay, now it is a current trend that the young people started having a beard, but before 10 years back there was no, people believed to have clean shave altogether. So it was his weird experience, first experience to see people having a lot of people who were having a beard, sideburns. This is called the hair grown near the ear lobe. It's called sideburn. So long sideburns were there, great beard were there, and the mustache were handlebar like that, very long, very long. I saw many beards in my life. A woman walked in through the train gate. She wore a dress with leg-up button sleeves and skirts to the top of her high-buttoned shoes. And you see the dressing sense of that time, 1894. Of the first of all, the men's wear. It was a 4-button suit, a derby hat, okay, with the tiny lapels hanging. And what was the dress trend or the provoke or the vogue of the women? A woman he saw, okay, coming out of the station was wearing what she was wearing, and he saw, okay, a woman walked into through the train gate. She wore a dress with a leg-up mutton sleeve. Leg-up mutton sleeves. It is not really that we pull a leg there, okay, and having something related to meat stuff. No. Leg-up mutton means you try to understand that. First of all, women generally wear leg-up button sleeves, apron, and leg-up button sleeve. It means a voluminous gathering of fiber will be there, cloth will be here, like a flower, bit loose. Then will be a skin tight till elbow, Then from elbow to wrist, skin tight stuff. So tight clothing from here, here, and on the shoulder there was a voluminous gathering of fiber, flower stuff, loose. Here a ball shop fiber will be there, loose cloth, here loose, like a flower, and then very much tight till wrist, that is whole leg of mutton sleeves. And second thing she wore, never saw some man dressed with leg of mutton and skirt to the top of her high button shoes there. High button shoes she wore, okay, that is the shin part of your leg, just below the knee. So below the knee skirt with high button shoes she wore, with leg of mutton sleeves apron she was wearing. One more thing you got to remember, okay. When Elizabeth the Queen ascended to the throne, 1837 almost. After 1837, the trend or the fashion of leg of mutton sleeve was obsolete, was gone. Chali gayi, bye bye. Till 1836, it was a dominance over women's clothing of leg of mutton sleeves. After the usherance, after the arrival, after the commencement of Queen Elizabeth, okay, she gave a new definition to the women's clothes and garments, and leg of mutton, what you can say, became an old-fashioned cloth after Queen Elizabeth ascended to the throne. With the leg of mutton, high button shoes and tracks, and back of that lady, he was able to see what was moving at the back of that lady. Out on the tracks, railway track, I caught a glimpse, I caught a sight of a locomotive, an engine. A powered railway vehicle is called a locomotive, or shorter definition, an engine. An engine you could see, okay, locomotive, a very small courier and Ives. Courier and Ives. Courier and Ives is a famous brand, okay, of Germany, which produces the famous locomotive engine for railways. So he was able to see a locomotive or a railway engine of Korean Ives, okay, with a funnel shape. Funnel there, like that. Funnel shape, like that. Funnel shape, stack chimney, and then I knew. And looking at the career and Ives locomotive, looking at the dressing sense of the women, looking at the man who was pulling a golden watch out of his vest pocket, he knew where he had come, or where he had reached there. After seeing so many of the indicators or the things around him, he was able to confirm that he was not at all at the second level or the first level or in the modern world. He had traveled the time in the past and around time 1894. In the coming paragraph, the things will be more confirmed where he has been and what was the year going on in the past. To make sure, I walked over a news buoy and glanced at the stack pile of papers, newspapers. Suddenly, his eyes caught a sight of a hawker, newspaper hawker, newspaper boy who was having a newspaper on the floor, on the road, okay, in a form of pile or a stake, or a heaps of newspaper were there. Or newspaper will be the best thing to know exact date or the name of the place he has been there at that moment. Newsboy and glanced at the stack of papers at his feet. It was the World, name of the newspaper. The World, name of the newspaper, he was able to see. And the World hasn't been published for years, and you see World has been a dominant newspaper from 1802 to 1877 there, and after that it has been closed down or wound up there. So almost 130 years okay, has been gone there, okay, when the World has been closed down. World has not been published for years. The lead story said, means the front cover of the World, when he was reading the newspaper, he took the newspaper in his hand, he saw the first cover, the front page, and what was the news at the on the front page, he read it, the lead story said something about President Cleveland. I have found the front page since in the public library files, and it was printed June 11, 1894. And seeing the photo of the famous President of America, that was Cleveland, he got to know by visiting the library that what was the time, and he eventually came to know which was the date or the year which was printed on the newspaper. It was June 11, 1894. So that was the years. Almost 9 years he served Cleveland as a President of America, and it confirmed that he had traveled time in the past, and that 11 June it was, and the year was 1894. I turned toward the ticket windows, knowing that here on the third level at Grand Central I could buy tickets that would take Lucia, me, anywhere in the United States we wanted to go. And now he started visiting the third level less apprehensively. Now it was confirmed that he has reached at the third level. The timing was around June 1894, and now he was feeling more but confident. Fear was no more in his heart. Charlie. Now what he was planning to do? Windows, I turned towards the ticket windows, knowing that here on the third level at Grand Central I could buy tickets that would take Lucia and me anywhere in the United States we wanted to go in the year 1894, and I wanted to get tickets to Galesburg, Illinois. Underline that please. Once he confirmed that he was traveling the past time there around 1894, he wanted to obviously visit some of the great places of the country can offer, United States of America, and he wanted to take the 2 tickets which could help Charlie to visit those places, famous places, with his wife Lucia. He wanted 2 tickets to which place? Galesburg, Illinois. Galesburg, Illinois is the place where this Jack Finney, the narrator of the story, the author of the story, has spent his childhood. And Galesburg, Illinois, he wanted to visit again. Not this time alone, with his wife Lucia. Have you ever been there? He is asking the reader. Have the readers ever visited Galesburg, Illinois? Been there? It is a wonderful town, still with big old frame houses, huge lawns, gardens, and tremendous, very big trees whose branches meet overhead and roof the streets there. So these are the 3 identical part indicator of the city of Galesburg, Illinois. First identity or the characteristic of the city of Galesburg is what? That first of all, the big old frame houses, underline it. Second one, huge lawns. Just outside of your residential part, you will find lawns, and at entrance you will find lawns, open garden, small garden, and lawns and tremendous trees. And just after your house on the road, you will find the trees grown in both sides of the roads, and they are meeting at the top of the road. They are covering the road. Branches, streets overhead and roof the street, and in 1894, summer evenings were twice as long, and people sat out on their lawns, the men smoking cigar and talking quietly. Time was really enjoyed by the people in 1894. Summer evenings were the best time, to rejoice too among men and women. When it comes to evening time, they sat together, men and women, and enjoying cigar, sitting on the lawns. Women waving palm leaf. They were summertime, so they were having a palm leaf, to cool down themselves against the scorching summer. Palm leaf in the hand, men smoking cigar, enjoying cigar, talking quietly, in a gentle manly appearances. Obviously, the women waving palm leaf fans with the fireflies all around there, because summertime there, so the fireflies, the crickets, the beetles must be just moving in the air here and there all around in a peaceful world. Obviously, why the peaceful world? Underline the peaceful world, because the world so far 1894 had not seen the 2 most tragical war, the first and the second World War so far. Therefore, The world was quite peaceful, quite tranquil, to be back there with the first world, still 20 years off. 20 years off, it means 1894. 1914 was the beginning of the First World. So 20 years still pending to start First World War, and the World War II, obviously 1939. So more than 40 years in the future. I wanted 2 tickets for the place Galesburg, Illinois. One for me, second for my wife Lucia. Enough for today, dear. Tomorrow will be having almost the ending part of this particular chapter. Listen to this particular explanation twice and thrice to own your comprehension. Thanks, dear.